Welcome to the Trini Tech Cast. This is episode number, is it 110 or 111?
111.
It's 111. I knew that. I had the wrong banner. Oh, no, I have the wrong, I named it the wrong. Okay. Yeah. Correct banner is there, but I named it wrong in the StreamYard. Welcome. Yeah, my name is Mr. Charles, Andre Charles from at Make It Simple TT, or also Trini Tech Cast, where you'll see the shorts and stuff. And this is my co-host Akim there. For the second week, we back to the duo, but however, Michaela should be joining sometime during the show. I'm not too sure exactly. But you know them young people and them, us old people, we just be like, yeah, them young people and them, they foot hot.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but it's the night before elections in Trinidad and Tobago. And the music trucks, I don't know, they're still pumping. I think they have up until midnight to stop.
I don't know. I just glad it by you.
I'm gonna lie to you. I reading through the whole laws of the EBC and all kind of thing just now to see if I could figure out when they're supposed to stop, and it says that you can't campaign on the day of elections. So I was like, maybe that's midnight. And all kind of things. Somebody else tell me you can't wear a particular any color jersey. I was like, no, you could wear the color, you just can't wear emblem. Because if they take away the color, that means you can't wear red, yellow, blue, orange. What you gonna wear? Black?
Yeah, because we have so much parties, and every party have a color.
Yeah. So the elections thing, pain for all those of y'all who struggle with it. By the time this video is out, we'll have a new government in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, either new or same.
Well, okay, a newly installed government, because they'll have to reinstall them anyhow. If there was so there will be a fresh. The president will have to come out for a fresh inauguration. Yeah, let me just put it that way, right? Whoever it is there. But we're here to talk about technology, and I think I do something techie this week. Something I learned in WordPress, boy, like I didn't know before. And I was like, oh, look at me, I'm smart. I can't remember what it is I did, but I had to fix something.
You weren't really playing around in the PHP files.
In the PHP files. Yeah. And
sometimes when something not working right or some plugin not doing exactly what you want it to do, it's hard to go digging.
Yeah, to go in the PHP files and use like logic and think and understand the PHP. But remember, you dealing with PHP real plenty because of Laravel. I just deal with PHP only when I go inside WordPress, and because I don't have to teach it ever now. So that was my techiness. Aside from, I don't know, sleep till 7 o'clock. I was doing the most to maximize this last week of vacation because school started back next week. And once school start back there, it have no stopping. It's just the gun does go packs, and then you just
just now is exams. Just now is CXC.
Exams is next week. Yeah, next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
Wow.
The first set of exams starting as soon as school open. Form 5s and them gone. Form 6 gone. Exams starting from the Friday. For some, and some people have exams starting from Wednesday or kind of thing. Yeah, so because the second term was long now, the third term kind of short. But
already I don't know if they do this in your school. So they already like had the day where they sign up each other's shirts and
no, they do it at the first day of school. So imagine the first day of school is your last day of school. Yeah. So that was going to happen there for the most part, but.
But they still do that. They still
still sign up.
I still have my shirt from Form 5.
I still have my Form 5 one and my Form 6 one.
Form 6, I don't think I don't think I do one for Form 6.
Oh, no, you're too cool for school. Just like you probably didn't even go. You're like,
I probably did, but I don't have it anymore. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. Form 6 is a different kind of vibe, but even when I sign in a Form 5 shirt versus a Form 6 shirt, like my students in Form 6, I was put real, deep messages and thing. In Form 5, I'll be like, yeah, don't mess up your life, exclamation mark, and sign my name. But with Form 6, because it's a little more, you know, it's deeper.
A little more mature,
Yeah. Yeah, and what you do? Anything? No, you're on vacation, right?
Yeah, on vacation, but they call me out because you're doing this whole thing at First Atlantic. So I was on call.
Yeah.
Because we do a migration from test to production for a payment gateway, First Atlantic. Okay. So
yeah, that test to production thing. It'd be like,
yep.
Did I create a test environment like it should be, or did I miss out something? Only when you reach a production will you know.
I hear the thing, right? Somebody's job to provide me with the environment, right? So I the test environment. So I test and develop and test. Time to move to production now. I move the code to production. I use Git and everything, so you know exactly what the changes is, where to make it.
Yeah.
Whatever. When you do look now, production have a real low version of PHP, and my test environment have a high version of PHP.
Yeah, his version like 7 point something, and they still on like 5.
So I spend like 3 hours just going through syntax errors and trying to fix it.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
That is
while the system, so that
while
fun.
it live, because technically
that was
basically
fun,
it live.
But I mean, just have a little parallel message downtime or whatever.
Yeah.
To let people know.
But
yeah, that was fun.
You never know when it will pop back up. Or something will pop up and it'll be like, oh yeah, I need to jump in there and fix that. Or I need to jump in there and fix that. Oh yeah, I need to jump in there and fix that also,
But I will be taking back my days.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. All right, so today's show, we have some technological stuff to talk about with respect to CXC, the Caribbean Examinations Council, people who I know very well because I have to submit IAs to them every year, and I have students who do their exams every year, which...
They don't call it SBAs no more?
IAs is for Form 6 and
okay.
SBA is for Form 5.
Form 5.
So CXC plan to integrate AI. It's a very interesting article with a lot of stuff. So that's why we only have one local, aside from the fact that everything in local is politics right now. So nobody actually doing anything technological that we could find. And then the Shanghai Auto Show has some amazing tech. We're going to talk through, we'll watch our YouTube video, but then we kind of talk through some of the technological things that generally you used to think was not possible. But you think that, okay, we'll get there eventually. But in China, we play in checkers and they play in chess, or Go or something like that. But I want a Chinese car. Yeah. All right, let's jump into it right after this. Well, you probably made it this far in the podcast. That means you probably like technology a lot and like to at least hear us talk about technology. And that also means you may know somebody or somebody who knows somebody or somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who wants a website built or an app built or some sort of technology integrated in their business. If you want to help them out, you could send them to Make It Simple TT, send them to us. And we have business services that range from building websites to building apps to invoicing systems to ensuring that technology is used in your company, to installation of routers, buying things online. So you could check us out, 308-8799. You could check our services out, or you could go to makeitsimplett.com and see some of the things that we've done and maybe give a recommendation to our website built or something like that. So my first article is, now Long Way News, something from the Newsday. Newsday is not exactly our greatest news source, but...
You think so?
No, our greatest news source. I'm not saying
okay.
I'm not saying like generally speaking. No. Like most of the times, I don't get articles from Newsday. It's be more from the Express and the Guardian. But this one, it starts off with CXC is developing they're developing AI in education policy. It should be an AI. I don't know, but whatever. The Caribbean Examinations Council will be working with member countries to develop a responsible generative artificial intelligence Gen AI policy framework for the regional secondary school education system. So their goal is to create a system where all of the countries know what they're doing and they kind of understand how to use AI, right? Now, there are three parts to it. Three parts that kind of strange, but let's make sense of it. First one is this: ethical use of AI as an academic integrity. We're looking at how students cite its usage in their SBAs and other work, ensuring data accuracy and privacy. Some territories already have data privacy laws in place, and CXC encourages the proper use of personal information. Candidates must understand, share, and be cognizant of the proper use of personal identification on the web. And they're basically talking about academic integrity and the use of AI. So, to put it in a nutshell, if I were to break it down, is this. When a student goes and they use AI, a large language model, to do any of their work, technically speaking, anytime you cite something from any external source, which is a book, used to be a book, and then it gravitated to websites, you should be able to cite the website that you got the information from. But now students not getting information from any books anymore, for sure. They're not getting information directly from a website. They're getting the information as summarized by a large language model and spits out an answer to them. And what they want is they want these students to start to understand that, yes, you can get the information from AI, but you have to be able to dig deeper and check the sources that it got the AI from. Generally speaking, that is one of the major points of the article. And I'm not sure that students are mature enough to understand that they're taking a shortcut, and in order for them to get the best out of their academic experience, they should actually go and find the source.
But at the CXC level, you just have to cite your sources?
When they do a SBA, yeah.
And all the SBAs I ever did was science. I'm not sure. Like other subjects, SBAs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to say the textbook, and you have to do it in APA format or some kind of thing like that.
At CXC level, like Form 5?
Yeah, I'm telling you why, yeah.
Things change and...
Yeah, they have to put the sites that they get the information from and those sort of things. Now, that is for subjects that are research-based or research-oriented, but like scientific and technical subjects, you don't really have to cite anything. So like if I do a ITSBA, they don't have to cite anything. They just have to solve the problem. So they're trying to create some way where you would be able to what's the word by? You'd be able to show that you used artificial intelligence to get your answer.
Yeah, but I mean, it's possible based on which tool you use, like, and if you're paying for it or not. So, like, some versions at ChatGPT or whatever, you'll be able to, you'll be able to access for the sources or whatever. And I think if you use like Perplexity does give you the source, but yes, give you the source and the link next to each paragraph to tell you where it get from. So it's kind of possible based on which tool you use, but yeah, as I say, students, well, I guess for me, my experiences with science, so at that level, yeah, I'm not sure how they will handle it.
Watch this quote that he has, right? CXC Registrar Wayne Wesley said teachers were being encouraged to build ambiguity into their assignments by asking open-ended questions. Because you have to engage students in more one-on-one conversation to appreciate where students are and appreciate whether their work is presented as truly their own. Also, it requires us to rethink how assessment is done from a summative and formative standpoint, which is usually the biggest problem that most people have with AI. How do you tell if this child did the work for themselves or if they had AI do it for them? No. The open-ended question thing is like one way to solve it, but in-person testing is really the only way that you could be sure that the information that this child has written down is what they actually know. But you can't do in-person testing for every single test. Some of them they're going to have to do research papers. Some of them they're going to have to do some sort of presentation or some kind of thing like that. And AI chewing that up in seconds. And you have to now find a way to get them to be able to get teachers to be able to assess these students.
Like to extent even like in-person testing, right? Like for me, in-person testing, I used to sometimes I just used to study the night before and memorize everything and just go and do the exam. So some students, they could be using AI throughout the term and time for tests, they'll use, and I mean, this kind of the good thing with AI, but they could use AI to help them study, like say, this is my syllabus, this is what we learned during the term, this is how the test going to come in this certain format. How would I answer these questions, right? And then AI could give it certain answers and the student could go and study how to answer the questions and like study like that.
Yeah, that would be good that they study.
Well, that's how I would do it. Yeah. Like, figure out how to study it and get the answers to the questions, that kind of thing. So in a sense, the learning, yeah. So that's the approach you probably should take, use it to.
But then it has some subjects that it's difficult to do that. It's difficult to say, like let you say you're doing literature, right? And you have to do a literature review of a book. A lit review of a book is basically what the book is about and what are the themes in it and how do you think those themes express themselves or whatever the case is, right? You usually would have had to read the book, summarize it, and then come in the exam and explain those themes. But now you could just ask your generative AI to summarize the themes, so you give it the points, and then you just regurgitate that out. Now, how as a teacher, you going to create a test in such a way that gives you an open-ended question, which is what he said in the article, to force a student to use some critical thinking about what they write. It's real difficult because the book is the book and there is nothing else, there's no other material besides the book. So it's almost like a finite thing. You could study that whole book, get all the summaries and know what to write and then look like you know what you're doing. So subjects like that where there is a finite amount of content, but subjects where there is like a infinite amount of content. So let's say, for example, a spreadsheet. A spreadsheet, it have so many different ways that you could apply a particular formula or function to a question. No matter how much the student cram a VLOOKUP, you could create a question that integrates a VLOOKUP in such a way that the student has to know how it works to be able to implement it, right? So there are some subjects where, yes, you could tell a teacher, just change the way that I ask any questions. You will see who knows what they know and what they don't know. But then it has some subjects where you really can't change the way that I ask the question because the answer is the answer. And it's easy to get all the possible answers.
Yeah, but like I guess maybe science, the science subjects like that, like chemistry, if they ask it, I can't even like organic chemistry and the other. I forget what it is how to do, but that type of chemistry or physics or even biology, if you ask it to draw a heart or something and annotate and all them things, you can't, you don't know what you're doing in that sense.
So
even like,
go ahead.
Even like POA and I guess accounts and stuff like that, I don't know, or even maths, I don't know,
Yeah, you're getting away with it in those things where you could create questions based on a process or based on some sort of formula or based on some sort of application. But for subjects that are highly theoretical, like, okay, let me say it's POB. POB has the ability to create scenarios that you have to apply the business processes to. So when you do an in-person test, you will actually see if they could apply the knowledge to that particular question. But again, like you say it's literature, or like we say it's social studies or some kind of thing like that, it's kind of difficult to create in-person testing that will highlight the fact that you didn't use AI. No. If it had to create a test for it, it's way harder, like exponentially harder to create an assignment that you could give a child to go home and do that they can't just get AI to do it for them. Like you can't tell me that you telling somebody to do a book report and you telling them you have a week to submit it. Go and read the book and submit it. I know because my children had book reports to do, and I was like, we could not have to do this, right? and I was like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, well, what you can do, because I try my best to get them to read the book and do the book report properly. But I was like, it have certain parts where you could just kind of get a second opinion on it. And here's how you get a second opinion. You go to this website and you put in the information and you get a second opinion, and now you could modify your answer. Because I'm trying to get them to use it ethically. But them don't know. Like, they must come back home and be like, Daddy, it have a girl that used ChatGPT for the whole thing. And you could have see it. And I was like, yeah, that's things that teachers going to have to crack down on. And then she was like, yeah, but they can't do nothing. How do you know? And I was like, yeah, it's true. So giving a child a book report is like, that going to basically come out of the education syllabus. What else going to come out of the education syllabus?
I think basically all take-home assignments, you could use AI to some degree, some more than others, but you could use it to help you.
I don't know, like, I wanted Michaela to be in for this, but you remember when it had analysis of algorithms? Yeah, she did, but I don't know if she ready yet, because the camera not on. Probably fixing here. Making herself camera ready. Yeah. But you remember like in UE, when you had to do a course called analysis of algorithms?
I did something called something with algorithms.
Right.
I think so, yeah.
But it's basically 12 algorithms that you had to choose from and you had to solve it. Right? It's some of the hardest algorithms that you could find. And you would search the whole internet and not be able to find the solution for it. One of them is called Gray's Code. I can't remember what it is, but it was a real hard algorithm to solve, and most people used to try to solve that one because there was an actual website that had an answer to it. But you had to modify an answer or something like that, right? So even with the ability to get a secondary source of information to help you with it, it was still hard to do. That's the level that teachers are going to have to get at to create take-home assignments.
I think AI will still be able to. The way the pace it's going now, yeah, it will be able to do it. I don't think it. You had to tell somebody go and build a whole network in AWS. That kind of thing where you need a human to go and do it.
Yeah.
But at that level, at CXC level, even CAPE level, I don't think it's anything that AI wouldn't be able. Even if it help you with 20%, 50% of the work, it would be able to help. I mean, things like where you had to go and draw something, the AI not go and draw it for you, like them type of subjects, like TD and people doing homework and thing, you know.
I think you could do the TD, but the homework, the cooking part, the food and nutrition. Yeah. So watch this next paragraph, right? That's some of the advice was given to ensure that students' intellectual laziness or cognitive decline does not occur, because students will be stimulated to ask the requisite questions and engage the content differently. So we have to think about how we design and develop our assessments. Now, I kind of agree with that statement where, okay, they're going to use the AI. You're sure they're going to use it. What we have to do is we have to try to create the assessments or the assignments in such a way that when they use it, they had a prompt like 4 times. Anytime you could give an assignment and in one prompt you get the answer, like they copy and paste the question and put the question inside the thing and then get the answer, then you fail as a teacher. You have to get the child to multiple prompt.
It does delay in the inevitable 4 prompts.
Okay, but with the 4 prompts, they have to think.
Yeah.
Whereas now, as it is right now, the kind of test that we given, give 4 things that Columbus did that were good for the Caribbean. You could just highlight that and paste that in. But if you say, of the 4 things that Columbus did for the Caribbean, 2 of them may have a longer term impact than others. Which 2 do you think and why? That's 4 prompts you had to put in there.
Yeah, I answer that. I sure you could put that in now and I'll answer that.
Of the 4 things? No, you have to get the 4 things first.
No, yeah, I don't know how to, yeah, that's, okay.
Right, so what I'm trying to say is...
You could put all that in one prompt. Instead of 4 separate things, you just say if Columbus did 4 things or whatever, 4 good things, and of the 4 good things, I can't remember what I say, but which ones had long-lasting effects. Right. So you put all that in one prompt.
No, what I'm trying to say is, you made sense of the question and crafted the prompt to get the answer in one shot. What a student doing right now is just click, highlight, copy, paste, and generate, and then send back. So they're not internalizing what the question asking for them to think about the prompt. So what I'm trying to get to is, okay, if they're going to be using it, at least let them think about what they're prompting it for. Because that's the best that you could get with our take-home assignment now.
Yeah.
It ain't really going to get any better than that after they use it for anything that they want. So how can I, as an educator, make using AI harder? That's the thing. Because it I know they're not going to use it. That's the question CXC trying to ask, which I think is a good question.
But that's a real slippery slope, because you could create an unbalanced playing field, because like we say, you're going and try and make questions harder and that type of thing, so that AI wouldn't be able to answer it as easily, right? And you're making that the standard across the board. We're always going to have students who don't have access to AI, who don't have readily access to stuff, and who going and just had to rely on the traditional things just because of how things with it is with access to technology and things. So if you do that on one hand, it would disadvantage some students who don't have the access.
You have a good point. You have a good point. I agree. Because if you make the question hard because they have an easy way here, you're totally correct. That means it's double hard for the person who has to get the information for themselves. Now, the person who had to get the information for themselves will probably have to go and read the textbook, assimilate what the question says, find the 4 points, and then take the 4 points and turn it into an argumentative essay or some kind of thing like that. Whereas the person that does have the AI, 4 prompts later will get the answer, whereas they probably do it in like 4 minutes.
And then the other person you'll have some people who have access to the free version, and then some people who parents could afford to buy a ChatGPT subscription pro version, who will get better answers than the person with the free version. So it all levels to,
Yeah, well then take-home assignments officially screwed. Officially there's no take-home assignment aside from the technical subjects. And we'll be clear about that. Technical and science-based subjects where you have to come up with a solution to something that is unique. You probably could create an assignment that may require some critical thinking to solve it. Now, it's not that it won't be solvable, but it may be solvable.
You'd have to finesse it a little bit to use AI.
Yeah, like welcome to Michaela, who was we not saying anything. We can't state what we know for the public to know, but
I'm sorry, I was listening in the car as I was driving home.
All right, that's why I was there. Okay. She was typing in the chat. Yeah, when we reach we're talking about CXC integrating AI, and we kind of realize that take-home assignments are going to be a thing of the past because there's no way to
avoid cheating.
There's no way to
avoid use of AI.
Yeah, to avoid original work now. To say, well, I try to make sure that the student gives in the original work. But some part of me as a teacher, maybe because I teach IT, I want to beat this now. I want to. I see it as a challenge.
Yeah. I mean, I sure you'll be able to do stuff with students, but I sure if it's any question in CXC, I sure you could. It's always to prompt AI to get answer for it. Or at least help you like 50% of the way, 60% of it, and then you had to use your critical thinking or whatever to figure out the rest of it. Or it's has some parts of it that you could use AI for.
I mean, I think that students before the heavy use of AI have always found ways around things. So I was listening to the whole book report part.
Yeah.
And for me, well, I did English lit, and for English literature we had to do like Shakespeare plays and stuff. They have books. I have a book called No Fair Shakespeare that basically translates the entire book from Shakespearean English into normal English and gives you themes and gives you summaries and things like that.
Yeah.
So tell you,
it's easy to do.
Yeah, like people have always been finding ways around it. So like teachers who like repeat exams, and people post the whole exam on check.
I know what people does do too. A lot copy.
Yeah.
Copy each other work. And let's change up this word, you change this word, change the sentence.
Yeah.
I feel I am capable of creating a database question in Microsoft Access that they will have problems with AI helping them to do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so because with Microsoft Access, it have all kind of things that could go wrong if it don't apply the
Microsoft Access still around. No, I mean, for real, a genuine question.
Yeah, why? That's what we just teach in school.
Okay.
To introduce it to databases, to teach it, right? Yeah. I think that it have even though Access might try to run you like any AI, any large language model will be able to run you through all the steps I have to do to build this database.
Mm-hmm.
I could put enough things inside there that will cause them to have to actually do it or ask multiple questions to get it done to the point where they might be frustrated. Like if I tell them to put things a particular data type, a mask on it and all them kind of things, you'll still need to know because it's a practical thing and you won't be able to just get a practical thing to be done like that. With a spreadsheet, I might have a little more problems because a spreadsheet is just applying the right formulas to get the output. But as an IT teacher, I think I could game the AI system and make it hard for a student who wants to.
I think it can make it hard, but it will still be possible.
Yeah.
You'll have to do multiple, as I say, multiple prompts or whatever, but it will still be.
And if they use multiple prompts, I win because I get them to think about what they prompted because that's basically the furthest that you could win with.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest win that you can get. That I make you have to prompt ChatGPT 5 times.
Yeah, prompt engineering is a new field, you know.
Yeah. I feel so, but I feel sorry for other teachers. Like one of my friends in school, a sociology teacher.
Wow. That subject.
Yeah, he getting essays ChatGPT out from now till whenever during the term. And then when mock exams roll around, THRASH, trash, utter filth coming from them children when they have to write it personally.
You spell trash right?
I think so.
I hear something as like
it's not
TRHA. I thought I hear
it's thrash.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like you had to say it with Elizabethan English.
Fast.
Yeah,
that subject. See, like sociology, is do psychology at CXC Cape level?
No.
Okay. History.
So, history. All of them things. You dead any water? I can't. Let me see if I can go through them. History, sociology, literature, economics, anyone in business subjects, MOB.
When I was doing Spanish.
Spanish could be difficult, I think.
Well, not the written. Maybe the oral, because you adult do it on your own, but the written Spanish.
Now, talking about assignments, like if you give somebody an assignment to do something in Spanish, sometimes the translation is be very, what should I say, orthodox. Meaning,
yeah,
it doesn't have the innuendos that you might learn in different classes, which tends to happen. But I mean, AI going to end up catching up with that too. But yeah, I don't think those types of subjects have hope when it comes to assignments. They just basically have to test them in class, because no assignment will be able to be validated or verified. I don't know. Yeah. Michaela is typing. So what's the next part of this article now, which is quite interesting. 70% of regional education ministries have no AI policy. So he said the framework was he wanted to give a framework to the education ministries and tell them, hey, you gotta start to think about this and put something in place. And one of the questions is, does the student not take responsibility for the work generated, or framework is anchored in that personal responsibility? It's not sufficient to say that the machine did it. The machine may help you to do it, but to preserve academic integrity, honesty, originality, responsibility, respect, fairness, accountability, and all key elements that are embodied in the policy framework. So they want the ministries of education to develop a framework for it. And well, you all know the other day I went to AI workshop. But in developing the framework, here the difficulty that I kind of worried about. AI is so fresh that if you develop a framework now, in 3 years, your framework will basically be useless because you built it around what a large language model could currently do. But in 3 years, what a large language model will be doing, that framework will have no weight.
Yeah, because like right now, you say you could do a question now, it'll make the students have to do 5 prompts. A year from now, might just be 1 prompt.
Yeah. It might just be copy the question, and then it spit out our access database for you.
Yep. Here's your access file.
Yeah. But then
it's do that now, like spit out spreadsheets and graphs and that kind of thing.
Yep. Graphs and visualization. And especially with HTML, if you give an HTML assignment, like that's the dumbest thing that you could do. Build a website from
Something was a weird thing up. I don't know if that's weird, but it asked me if I wanted it to do a graph for me, like an image of a graph, and it did the image, and then it gave me the code for it, like Python code for the graph. It's like
It's like to give you a Python code for all kind of things. It'd be like, Python is the best language right now because it's easy to learn and whatever. Something I asked for and it gave me it in Python. I was like, no.
I think I'm gonna try and do something in Python
for fun. I have a fun project that I want to do, but I ain't really
kind of for fun. But I'm gonna use it in an actual system. People are gonna use.
I'm gonna check and see if I can make money for kicks.
Make money for kicks.
Yeah, like just be like, okay, I have this thing that possibly could make a lot of money, and I just gonna ask ChatGPT to guide me through how to make it. And I'm going to see before the end of the year if I could do it. But long story short, I think the AI policy thing is difficult, especially for the fact that in Caribbean countries our developmental policies does normally take long, and it might start in 1 year and then finish 3 years later, but using the information. So let me say they start the policy in 2025. The policy will finish in 2028, but still using the information based from 2025. And then when it launches in 2028, it's defunct and it's unusable because it's not possible anymore. But if CXC is preparing people for the workplace, what a policy should have in it with respect to AI that will eventually pass through, because it's still education, so it'll have to pass through universities. Once you pass through universities, when they get to the workplace, what should the policy be preparing the children for? In my view, like, I guess the closest person to understand this will be Michaela, because she kind of in our workplace, as a young person in our workplace, you kind of see where work is going. What the policy should be preparing for. So like a child who's gonna be working in the next 5 years, like what you seeing that you think will be I don't know, what the AI thing's supposed to prepare them for?
Well, that's a good question. You know, they can learn how to use AI, but not how to put it.
Keep in mind that you have a bias against using ChatGPT. Like, we remember that. We remember when you said it. We'll find the clip here. Good.
Yes. Yes, but okay. So AI is not the end all be all. You can use it as a tool, but you also have to remember that it sometimes hallucinates. So if you're dealing with very not necessarily sensitive but important information that you need to make sure is accurate, please, even if you use AI and use ChatGPT and you get a nice little summary, please go and validate the claims yourself, because I think people just use it and they're like, yeah, okay, it must be right. But no, not three quarters of the time. Like, I want to say like a quarter of the time, it will straight up just hallucinate answers. And it's like, if you rely on that in the workplace, for let's say you have to compile an important document for a client, if you lawyers, so you're in a law firm, right? If you're using that and ChatGPT is making up laws and you're like, yeah, we're going with that, when you reach in the courtroom, then what? Wasn't there a case like that? There was a case like that. Hold on.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. I heard about it.
Let me see.
And you kind of end up in a position where AI failed you, and it's supposed to. But the question is, in 5 years, will it be hallucinating still?
Probably not. But,
like, so the crux of the argument is the integrity of the data, of the integrity of the answer, right? In 5 years, it mightn't be like making them some mistakes. It might be like, oh yeah, I've overcome that because I've learned enough about it and I'm smart enough to figure it out. So that's the concern with like developing our policy now. If we develop a policy now by 5 years.
Yeah, but policy should be regularly updated regardless though.
Oh, come on. I mean, we're dealing with the Caribbean here. We're dealing with Trinidad and Tobago. We're dealing with countries that some countries still don't have internet nationwide. Like, yeah, dealing with them kind of issues. So if CXC trying to put those things in place, they have a lot of hurdles that they have to pass. So yeah, policy is not going to get updated on time. But if they do put in a policy, which I think they should, there should be some core foundational, I don't know, things that won't change. So let me say like citing your source. Should there be some way to say, okay, yes, I use artificial intelligence for this book report. Here are the websites that it used to give me my answer. Now, you're basically admitting that you copy, but it's better they admit than they just make it look like it's their own. If you have something along that, like in universities, citing sources is a must. You can't not cite your source using APA or MLA, right? I hope that didn't change.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's true.
So
even if you are the source, you still have to cite yourself. Otherwise, it's plagiarism.
Yeah, kind of weird, but still, yeah. If we do that for at least the AI, it's not admitting defeat. It's accepting that they're going to use it, and well, if they're going to use it, let's get them to start to admit that they're using it. That's the only cornerstone I could rely on to say, okay, yeah, that's the only thing that I show the policy should have.
when you're a student too, it's be real important to learn the basics and get a good foundation in whatever you're doing, whether it be IT, business, whatever. It's be real so that on your own, you could go in a room and be able to explain certain things there after school. You could go in a room and be able to explain certain things to people, talk in a meeting, that type of thing, without having to refer or whatever to anything. It's be important to at least, have that basis. Because, like, I mean, when you're in school and whatever, is need the foundation, is learn certain things, whatever, is how the assignments, exam, and stuff like that. In the workplace, that is where all the other tools just come into play. Like in the workplace, Stack Overflow, you have different tools, you have this, you have that. That's come into play. So, and in order to use them tools effectively, you just need a good foundation. So, they had to find a way to find the balance between using it and still giving the students a proper foundation in whatever they're learning.
I want to lobby that prompt engineering be put on the syllabus from Form 1 to 3. Somewhere inside there, every year, you have to go through some level of prompt engineering skills or techniques that will help you to use AI effectively. Because there is the CXC, they have a whole 31-page AI policy here, 31 pages, and I'll just share the...
You know what too? Remember the other day we was talking about, people having relationships with AI and people talking to AI.
Yeah.
And we posted our video and I went looking at some of the comments, like, that's like once in a blue moon thing. And I thought people in the comments was like, every day when I come home, I just talk to ChatGPT and tell it to happen. And it just be responding to me. And when I have problems with this one, I just go to and talk to Chat. So people using it.
People,
like,
and there was real like on the thing where you call it a parasocial relationship.
They didn't like that.
There's like it's not parasocial. Some people just are friends and all kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I wouldn't say that is just.
No, that's what the comment said.
Okay.
So these are the things that they have in their 31-page document, right? Policy
CXC?
adoption framework. You've seen it, right?
Yeah.
Responsible policy, impact on evaluation, educational systems, regional, national. Preserving academic integrity. If I had time, I would read through all of it. Maybe I might read through all of it. But here's the implementation arrangements. Phase 1, policy development. Phase 2, qualification and assessment management. And Phase 3, monitoring and implementation. So basically, develop the policy, create a way to assess people and give them their qualifications, knowing that they're using AI or whatever the case is, and then monitor and implement. That's basically what they're trying to do, which... as I said, I agree with. It's just that it's hard. It's genuinely difficult when something moving so fast to tame it. It's like a horse that running very, very quickly. How are you going to catch that horse and tame it to use it for, I don't know, milling green or some kind of thing like that? That's a real old... That's because I'm watching some anime that have somebody working on a farm. Vanland Saga, yeah. But
Vinland.
Is Vinland or Vanland? I can't remember. Yeah.
Vinland, yeah.
It's Vinland, yeah.
How good?
It's kind of good though, but it's not something I'll binge. It's just like, let me see what happens next. And I'll watch it like 2 episodes every 5 days or something. But yeah. But I think they're onto something. Think they should try, and me as a teacher, I'm all for it. I really, really would love that they come and tell me as an IT teacher, I have to teach prompt engineering as a topic for a whole term. I will go real hard with creating some very, very complex things that will make them have to work on their prompt and probably find a way for AI to market, because that's my next hurdle. I'm going to figure out how to get AI. I'm going to structure my test in such a way that they have to type up their answers. And when they type their answers, all I had to do is upload that document to it and it gave me back an answer. Because I think I should be smart enough to do that. Should be. That's one of my side quests. Aside from the other one for making money for fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, that's CXC planning to integrate AI. I guess where I land on it is that I like it. Just that they have a very difficult task with some subjects because it's almost impossible to give a take-home assignment and not have AI do it properly. Where you land on it, Akeem?
Yeah, I mean it would be negligent at this point to not try to have something in place. So it's good that they're looking at something. And I learned similar to you is it would be difficult. So it will be something difficult to implement given how fast things changing, and stuff like that.
All right. How are you landing in Michaela?
Yeah, it would be difficult, but I think that they'll overcome it eventually, Every couple of years, things have to shake up a little bit. So right now, things are getting shaken up. So it'll settle down. It'll settle down. I have no doubts that it will. Like COVID shook up everything. AI came, everything some more. Yeah, man, it'll settle in some years.
It ain't shaking, it rattling. All right, cool. Okay, let's go on to our next topic, which is the Shanghai Auto Show. We're not a car podcast, but the technology in some of them cars, crazy. And we are talk about it. So, back after this. Right now, you're listening to Training TechCast, and more than likely, you know that I love technology a lot. But more so, I love teaching technology. I'm a CSEC IT and CAPE Computer Science and IT teacher, and I have classes that are available. So if you know any student that's looking for quality CAPE Computer Science or CSEC IT classes, you can check us out 308-8799 on WhatsApp or makeitsimplett.com/register. You can get classes, notes, recordings, IA, SBA help, everything that you could think of. That will get you that one in CSEC IT. So you can check us out. All right, well, I have a video for you to watch. Okay, there are a lot of videos, but I just gonna show this one because it's short and sweet. But
Michaela, are you a car person?
No, but my boyfriend is.
Yeah.
I am not.
I'm not really a car person either.
I am a technology person, and if I get a car with this technology, I in the game. Yeah.
If you've ever wanted an electric vehicle with a truly immersive cinematic experience, then Chinese automaker NIO has just the thing.
Chinese customers are expecting very high level of novelty and new technologies.
Seat massage, fragrance, and a show that literally moves you. This vehicle comes with a $110,000 price tag. It takes a lot to stand out in the highly competitive Chinese market.
It puts a very high pressure manufacturers.
If that's too steep, China's Rox Motor offers this SUV for $42,000 with a kitchen for camping.
Push this button, and it can shift to give the power from here, and then you will have an oven. You can cook the beef, all these things on this table.
The Shanghai Auto Show is dominated by Chinese and European brands and offers a glimpse of a future beyond fossil fuels. But don't expect to see most of these offerings here anytime soon. Canada imposed a 100% tariff on EVs made in China in the fall, designed to stop a flood of imports. This comes as fewer Canadians plan to buy an EV, according to AutoTrader.
This is the third consecutive year that we are seeing a decline in intention to purchase more.
The cost of an electric vehicle cited as a barrier and a lack of charging infrastructure. But the top reason? A fear of being stranded on the road.
80% of consumers stated that they're anxious about the range.
This as EV prices are down nearly 8% year over year. But the federal EV rebate of up to $5,000 ran out this winter. With some auto tariffs plus levies on steel and aluminum already in place and threats of more coming, March saw a flurry of purchases as people tried to get ahead of tarifflation.
If you apply price increases to certain parts.
All right, so it starts again as basically a Canadian video, right? But they're talking about EVs and tariffs. But Now we just kind of jump on the cars here, right? So the car that we saw, the first one that we saw, was basically this kind of immersive experience where
Like
you
a
don't
4D
just
cinema.
Yeah. You don't just see outside. You experience outside from inside the car. You see
Why would I want my car to be shaking while I drive and it broke? That'll just get me irritated. That'll just get me so irritated.
but it can. It can. And your car could have an oven at the back. And you
I
open
like
up
that one.
open up
I
that
like
door
one.
and you use the battery, it turn into an oven. It had one that I saw that Akeem was telling me about where it's literally driving over speed bumps and there is no shaking whatsoever. The suspension is some kind of AI suspension that's moved the car.
You think it'll be able to handle Trinidad potholes?
I just saying that the AI suspension was counterweighing the car. Now, imagine that. You have enough sensors in place that when your car starts to go lean in a particular direction, it hit a pothole, it have motors and actuators and all them kind of thing, and AI that is able to say, oh, the car is shifting to the right. Let me apply a counterforce to the left to ensure that this thing stays level. That's crazy stuff. Like, it had motorcycles that could have do that could have stayed in a straight line and could drive and whatnot. But to get that to happen in a car, the amount of physics that you need to know and the amount of things that need to be going on, that's just one. Then it had another one that I saw that was what is called this thing by? It was doing a parallel parking, but the wheels not turning sideways. The wheels staying forward, but the wheels spinning at a particular velocity so that the back of the car just kind of like slides out by itself and then comes out. So just the back wheels alone spinning. But if you make one wheel spin faster than the other because of physics, it would do that. And the only way you could do that is with an electric car where you have individual motors to each wheel. That kind of thing. And that is just like the tip of the iceberg. It had so much other things. It had hour-long videos and things that I saw there, right? And I'm not a car person. I anytime I go a car show, I used to get vexed because them only spraying one set of shiny thing on top of the engine and opening the hood and making you look at it and be like, what's the thing? Armorol?
Yeah, Armorol.
Yeah. Only spraying Armorol on the hoses and all kind of thing and the battery poles and whatnot. And I was like, that's not cool. I don't find that very interesting in the least. Why do you all keep popping the hood and showing people colorful cables and tubes? That's not cool. But the technology, like, I am very, very for it. Especially since I've determined that my next vehicle is going to be at least hybrid, but more electric. At least plug-in for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the suspension thing, for me, the biggest thing for EV is the not having to pay all our money in gas. The electricity will be cheap and not having to service every 6 months or whatever. That is the biggest takeaway for me. Everything else is like a nice to have kind of thing. It's like, for me, a car is just get in the car, you go where you go, and you come back. A car is not like a.
I know I not a bells and whistles guy. I don't know, but it has some things that these things gonna be able to do that gonna make my driving life easier. And that is what I really consider that what I want. So like you see, right now a lot of the new cars have what's I say, Michaela?
The car shaking while you're driving, making your life easier.
or the car not shaking while I'm driving, a smoother ride? Oh yeah.
No, the one that shaking.
The one that shaking.
No, the one that you saw shaking was to prove that it has the ability to move around now. Like it has the ability to do counterweights and whatnot, yeah. But the auto braking one, where like it has sense that another car is in front of you and automatically start to slow down before you even mash brakes. Real people let's be real excited about that on them Honda vessels. Everybody that have a vessel let's be like, hey, my car does mash brakes before I mash brakes, you know. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It has a sensor that's able to do that because it will notice something and it automatically slow down. And people will be excited for that. But that's a real good feature that every vehicle should have. The ability to not get in an accident
Yeah.
Like even you try and so imagine the other things that they have inside of that. Imagine if you you gonna get what's the word? You gonna get hit from the side, right? And the car automatically drive forward to avoid the hit. Wouldn't that be cool?
Wouldn't you hit the person in front of you though?
Well, no, if it have nobody in front of you.
But if it has somebody in front of you.
And if it have somebody in front of you and then it deploy the airbag in advance.
But it go
They can't deploy it in
deploy the airbag in advance of your collision. Not the person that you're gonna hit, but the person that gonna hit you on the side. And it's like, hey, there's a collision coming. I can tell that's happening. Let me deploy. I tell you to have moms out there that will drool over that because they'll be like,
so
protect my
dads.
Huh?
The dads don't care either.
The dad's not really gonna be too concerned about that. They just gonna be like, ooh, side airbag.
I disagree. I actually spent more money to get airbags on my car, side airbags. So I am a dad that did care about the airbags.
Well, that's good, but you don't care about what if the tire pressure low, right? And it just auto inflated for you.
Where get any air from?
It could do that.
Really?
Like all of them unnecessary maintenance things I just had to be doing and checking and thing.
Yeah.
It just figures it out and it does things for you that you probably didn't know that you needed, which is basically what technology is show you the thing that you didn't know that you needed, but you really appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
And it will get to that point. But of course there's a downside. The downside is software updates.
Maintenance.
Yeah.
If you get an accident and hit and damage one sensor and everything's not working, you gotta change every single.
That is hardware. Okay. Honestly, on a scale of 1 to 10, I think the software problems is like a 9 and the hardware problems is like a 3.
You sure?
Let me say, okay, they will have some ability to somewhere on the internet for you to get spare parts. It will be very expensive because of course you'll have to order it from there.
Because of that, I think it will be a high rating because it's going to be so expensive.
Right. But if you have plenty money, it's not a problem. But software, no matter how much money you have, if them screw up that software is screwed. And it has nothing you could do besides wait for update, which is basically what we just go through with phones. And the software that running these things is where we're going to have the biggest issue. Now, granted that the advancement in software engineering and proper coding is going to get a lot better with AI doing the coding for a lot of things because you have less errors and you'll have more consistency and them kind of things. But I would be very, very, very worried about the software. And you know, there are some people that do update their phone. They will see the update there and they'll be like, nah, boy, I know install.
But when you say your phone or the apps or both?
Your phone, like some people on iOS at least are heard of when they get an update. There's wait till it have the 0.1 update.
Yeah, I don't update iOS like that. I only update like the major ones, like when I go from 18 to 19.
Right, but would you go from 18.12 to 19.0 or you'll wait till you reach 19.1?
I don't know. I don't mind going to 30.0. I don't do the incremental upgrades. I just leave it.
I would be afraid to update my car. Because if it's working real good.
Yeah.
I'm not going and be like, what was this new thing? What's called this word? Variable heating on the seats. I don't use the seat heating, so I'm not going to update that. The reason I know this is because I have a particular setup that is used on my computer that I have right here, right now, right? That basically is work well for everything I need to do. Teaching classes, streaming, all them kind of things. And there was one time I see a NVIDIA update from a graphics card. And I was like, oh look, update. Let me put it on. And that thing screw it everything. From streaming to teaching to everything. And I just rolled it back and I was like, I never updated that driver again. Right? And the same thing has happened with like OBS, as these are pieces of software that is always have an update. But I just be like, no, I don't want to. Everything is working right now.
That's
so I know
happened to some games too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know based on my my views of software, I'll be very concerned about the software in a vehicle. Hardware, if I'm not stupid enough to buy a vehicle that I won't be able to, if push comes to shove, spend the amount of money that's necessary to fix it. Because our old man teach me that long time. When you buy a car, you're buying long-term maintenance. If you can't afford long-term maintenance, you can't afford the car. And that was the wise sage. I remember in a gas station it I met. But anyway, long story short, the Shanghai Auto Show, it shows that the possibilities for vehicles are now stretching towards more of a bells and whistles, cool features kind of thing. But somewhere inside there, I feel will be buried some very, very useful things that should trickle to other cars. It's just that the tariffs and all them things not gonna make it easy.
I mean, if I get the chance to go a show like that, I would go and I would enjoy myself. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Michaela herself should have been in a shaken car.
Of course.
Just so I was there. I saw it.
Yes, of course. And then I will be happy to get out of the shaken car and go home in my nice normal car that does not shake.
Unless it hit a pothole. But what if you could hit a pothole and not feel a shake?
I don't mind that, but I don't want my car to be intentionally shaken.
Yeah, I don't want going. I just actively try to avoid potholes.
Well, who does actively not try to avoid potholes?
I know people that just go straight in potholes.
Okay, well, yeah, that's me because I drive in a van. Like, okay, I admit, I have vanitis or whatever it is. I just be like, yeah, that big hole that everybody is taking the time to go over, I can drive over it. And I'll take the bump because, well, I can. But I don't think I would be averse to some new technology that will make life easier. So I'm watching real videos of the van that I want, the BYD Shark, on YouTube all the time. And every time these people talking about different things I just do, I'll be like, wow, that's kind of smart, yeah. That's kind of smart, yeah. Oh, I really love that they did that they thought about this, that they thought about that. And then there's how some things I'll be like, to change the air condition, you have to go on the touch screen and you have to go to a menu and then you have to change things. And I don't have like a dial that I could just turn to change it. But then the man was like, I mean, I rarely ever have to change the air condition because it is just automatically set to the right temperature all the time. And he's like, I never had to go into the settings because for some reason it knows how to, like it probably set to, you know, like how you set your phone to auto brightness and your phone is just bright when it's in the sun. Yeah, he said it is. Auto brightness. I love auto brightness.
I get flashbang sometimes, bro.
From what?
Sometimes in the night when it's supposed to be dark, it'll just randomly go all the way up like max brightness and I can't see a thing and I'm like, you know what? No.
All right, I can't say that I've experienced that. I just know when I'm in direct sunlight and the auto brightness realize I'm in direct sunlight and I just go all the way up so I could see the thing in direct sunlight, I'll be like, thanks. I didn't want to have to go into the settings and slide that thing up. So, yeah, intuitive vehicles, bring them on. Bring them on until I see $9.99 for auto brake assist or $6.99 per month for a different horn.
Yeah, the riches on subscriptions.
Be like, oh, you want the new headlights, huh? Yeah, we could turn them on and all, but you have to pay $2.99 a month. You
want seatbelts? Seatbelts is $5.99.
But that is where the automation is going to go. And when we talk about like job losses and all that kind of thing, those are the sort of things that make me realize that job opportunities are going to start to open up for people who could use artificial intelligence and those kind of things to push the limits of what you can do.
Right?
Yeah.
It don't directly correlate with each other. Like the people who going and lose their jobs, the type of work they're doing probably not going to translate to people who going to gain the jobs and be able to use AI.
Yeah,
so you're gonna have people.
I'm talking about the creation of jobs for different markets. Like people are going to lose their jobs, they're going to lose their jobs. I know way about it, but the people that are coming up, especially for me from a teacher perspective, you could see that there's a path for you to kind of pursue or go down, which is basically using computers, artificial intelligence and whatnot to push the limits of what can be done, because now the ceiling is a lot higher because of AI
and the time in which it take you to do things.
Yeah. And you might just create something that's cool. I real into economics these days because the amount of jobs are going to be lost in the next 10 years because of artificial intelligence going to be ridiculously high. So how will countries survive if nobody have money to spend and if nobody able to hire anybody to be able to create something? But essentially,
I think
economics is about creation of products. Yeah, go ahead.
That's where us being 10 years behind go work in favor. It's going to take a while for that to reach it.
That is true. I agree with you. We still studying to figure out how to use our bank card and how to scan a QR code.
So we safe for now.
That's real rough.
You like to scan QR codes? I don't like scanning QR codes.
I don't like that at all.
I hate QR codes.
Why?
Because you had to open your camera app, then you had to try and touch the small link, then open our site. It's like
exactly. Trust people like me exist. No, this is not me. Hypothetically, would put a troll QR link just for spite. Like, why are you scanning a QR code? Just because I tell you to scan here? You really gonna trust me? You don't know what they had there? Why are you scanning that?
Yeah, I don't like
don't scan QR codes, bro.
I wouldn't mind rickrolling you, but I mean, it's no QR codes are good. Okay,
I don't like them.
Even when people do the dumb thing of putting a QR code inside like an Instagram post and say scan here, I'll be like, well, I can't scan here because I'm on my phone, but then I could like you do the Gemini thing on my phone and it will just read what's on the screen and then scan the QR code and go to it. I just feel like I smart when I do that. I just be like, I scan a QR code from an Instagram post.
That's too much work.
Yeah, I if I really and truly need to scan it, I'll just hold it up to my laptop. Let the laptop scan.
Wow. Wait. I'm dealing with one set of tech grannies here.
Grannies, you?
QR codes are cool.
No, they're not.
QR codes are cool, but it's so you could so easily I could create a malicious link and put it on a QR code and 3/4 of the people in a room would scan it. Because everybody just like, okay, what's this?
Yeah, well, you don't have to click download APK. And that's how like it be like, okay, this APK downloaded. You should know not to install an APK. That's all. In the end, they still have to do something.
APK to complete registration. You'll be surprised. You will be surprised.
All right. Sadly. Okay, it makes sense. But yeah. When I get my future car, I'll tell you all about it. Yeah. And I'll tell you how my software updates work. Yeah. All right. That's it for today. Let's see. We spoke about CXC planning to integrate AI in depth. There were two parts to it basically, which is the academic honesty part and then how teachers are going to have to retool themselves, like people like myself, because I have 20 years again in teaching. By the time 10 years from now, I'm probably going to have to change the way that I teach, since we're 10 years behind it. And the Shanghai Auto Show, we spoke about technology in cars and figured out that Michaela just doesn't want a car that could move by itself.
You give out the age there, right?
I tell people my age long time. I'm in my 40s. I'm 40 right now. I said that last time.
Yeah. Oh, that's still young.
Yeah, but that's still old enough to not know that the ice bucket challenge was from 2014. My daughter come and be like, Daddy, I do the ice bucket challenge. I was like, what? The ice bucket challenge come back? And she's like, come back? It was here before? I was like, yeah, that was just the other day. And no, the Ice Bucket Challenge was in 2014, and now it's back on TikTok.
Yeah,
And
like I was very confused when I saw it came back. I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
we're
but
doing
it's not
it
for
again?
ALS. It's for mental health.
Okay.
Something to do with mental health.
You know, entered this other challenge where they was running on crates or something. We used to call that one. Where you run up on the kind of...
Yeah. And it goes higher and then slower. Yeah, higher, lower. I can't
People
remember.
break the back and all kind of thing.
Yeah, the crate challenge, I guess.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that thing come back. It have all kind of other challenges, but the Ice Bucket Challenge, it's a thing. Go and check it. You'll see it's on TikTok right now, and children are doing it all over.
Yeah, I was like, oh, look at this. I remember back in my day.
Back in my day,
I never did that. Back in my day, I was an adult. At that time.
I was 13, so.
Yeah, they didn't get me to do that. Not at all. She's be like, Daddy, you should do this one and you should do that one. I be like, do you know who your father is? Like, no, he's not that guy. Not that guy. Yeah. All right, that's it. Find me on Trinitechcast, Make It Simple TT on the internet. Right now, we're in the heat of exam mode, so YouTube is popping right now. And everybody that needs to learn about IT is coming to my YouTube channel. Yay for them. And co-host number 1, you could find him where?
At Trinitechcast.
Apparently, because he went on the page the other day to see how much people were commenting.
On TikTok. I still open Instagram.
Oh, it's rough out here, boy. It's rough. Yeah, and co-host number 2.
I am the exact opposite. You can find me on Instagram and not TikTok.
Free? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm thinking about installing it. I'm thinking about it, but
Why not though? Like, I can't remember if we talk about this.
because TikTok is such a big waste of time. And like I know myself, I will sit down there for hours and get nothing productive done. So just to avoid that, I just won't install it.
That's the height of adulting. Yeah, I'm too smart to do this. All right, Talia. That's it there for this week. We'll see you all next week. Hopefully, after the elections, we'll have some more local technology stuff to talk about. Until then, there is no slogan. Bye-bye.